Hello, my name is Terrence McClendon, and I'm the author of the book, Happy Parents, Happy Kids. And I'm developer of this training program with the same name, Happy Parents, Happy Kids. So welcome to our first sessions. Now, the purpose of this introductory session is to familiarize you with the procedures that we're going to be going through in the modules of the course. There's going to be 10 in all. And during this time, when you are watching the video, that what I'll be doing is primarily outlining the skills and techniques that you're going to be learning. I'll be walking you through the worksheets. And in most cases, I'll be giving you demonstrations of what we're going to be doing. Now, as far as learning goes, it's better for the brain to learn if there's continuity in the learning process. Now, so if you can organize your schedule twice a week, once a week, 3 times a week, whatever is comfortable for you, that there's an ongoing continuity, okay, and the brain can put things together a lot easier then. Sometimes one module is going to depend on getting information from the previous one. So if you allow too big of a gap, then it's a long way to go to recall this information, to build on it and to apply it over here. So continuity, regularity is always the best way to go. Now, wouldn't it be nice when you had a child if you came with a manual, and the manual said, oh, a manual for parenting. Oh, that's really good. What do we do? Okay, step number 1, okay, unpack. Okay, step number 2, and you go through a procedure. But unfortunately, that didn't happen, did it? So, how do we learn to be parents? Some people go to some general parenting courses or baby weaning courses prior to having the child. But mostly it comes from information you picked up from your parents, conversations you had with your friends. You might have read some books, things like that. So a bit of dribs and drabs, how the information comes in. But a lot of it primarily comes through your intuitions, things that you picked up, the way that you were parented. Now, some of the information comes in unconsciously, and some of it consciously. Have you had an experience when you interacted with your child, said something or did something, and went, I don't believe I actually said that, or I don't believe that I really do that? My parent used to do that to me, Boy, I didn't like it. I wonder if my child liked it. Okay. Well, these things happen, don't they? It's called the unconscious process. The brain doesn't know the difference between, what worked and what didn't. It's just a learning machine. But the good thing about the things that I'm going to be teaching you is they've been modeled after successful parents and successful professional people who worked with children. Okay, so you're assured of getting some really, really good skills and techniques to work with your children, either professionally or, if they're yours, 1, 2, or more. Now, so I'm going to introduce you to information, go through the exercises. Okay, you're going to then go off and practice them, and then you're going to go on to the next piece, and we're going to be on video number 2. Now, on learning, which is the first step now to communicating effectively with your child. Now, this information, is built to give you more confidence, more security, have a more comfortable approach with your kid. Because if you're happy, your child is happy. On learning, we come into the world, don't we? And primarily, genetics plays a part in who we are. Our home environments play a part. Early childhood education plays a part. But primarily, your physiology or your posture and your home environments dictate your way of learning and interacting with the world. You communicate with the world through your senses, don't you? You're listening, okay? You make contact with the world through touch, and you see what's going on. Now, depending on your postures and your physiology, your home environments, you learn to value 1 or 2 senses more than the other. So this session is all about understanding your child's learning style so you can communicate effectively using the language of their learning style. And let me give you an example of that. Now, in the book, you have a page that has figures like this: a tall and slender type person, a boxy type person, and a more full body type person. Now, the tall and slender person tends to look out and notice things in the world. Okay? Maybe because they're tall and slender, they can see what's going on. But they like and use language like, "That's clear to me. Okay? Show me what you mean. Paint me a better picture." The auditory sound type person likes to listen to what's going on. They can hear you. Okay? They like to talk a lot. Things resonate. They orchestrate. Things are in harmony. Strikes a common chord. The full-bodied person likes to get in touch with information. They make contact through touch a lot. They like to walk through information, okay? Get a grasp, a hold, connect with information. It's familiar to them. So it makes sense, doesn't it, literally? If you can communicate using the language, the words of the sensory orientation that your child uses, prefers, then it's going to be a lot easier for everybody because you're not going to have to repeat yourself. You go to a person who's a visual learner and say, "Look, let me show you what to do." You go to someone who's an auditory learner, "I'll tell you how to go through this." You go up to someone who's a feeling type person, you say, "Well, let's get a feel for this. Let me help you walk through this activity." And they go, "Yeah, I've got it." Otherwise, they're going to have to translate between their preferred sense into another sense that may not be so familiar, and they may not be able to cope at all because the information is not coming in the right language system. Now, in your book, your first worksheet has to do with sensory system language. You have some lists, don't you? You have a visual list, an auditory list, and you have a feeling list. Okay? There's also another list called a olfactory gustatory, where people need to nip things in the bud. Okay? Let me get a sense of this. That smells pretty good. Okay? Spicy thought. Let's cool things down. Okay? That's a bit flowery, isn't it? However, those are less used, and we'll get to those in just a minute. So let's go to your visual list. Okay? There's some samples there. Okay? See, bright, shiny, clear. Then you can fill out the rest of the list. The easiest way to do this. Why having to have to think of it when it's all around you? Look around. Light, bright, shadow, clear, shiny. Rumble, roar, whisper, rush, talk. Connect, rub, soft, walk, build, solid. Okay? The easiest way to get the information is to go to the sense where the information is and notice the information that you get. In the tactile feeling one, you got your textures. You got your building activities. Auditory one, what quality do you hear? Visual one, what quality do you see? And then it's just a matter of listing the distinctions that you notice. Fill out the list, okay? As well, if you can, the culinary industry, if you're cooking, or if you're in the floral industry, or perfume, all sorts of things. Bouquet, scents, essence, okay? Nipping it at the bud, okay? Think about being in the kitchen. All those kinds of smells that you get and the taste and such. List down all the words that you can. And then if you like, you can pass this information into me by email. I'll give you a review and get it back to you, and we'll go to the next step. Now, the best way to learn this stuff is to do it. Notice what's around you. You listen to the radio. You listen to people on television. You listen to conversations. You'll start to hear these words. You become aware. Learning is about awareness and integration. But you got to put it into practice, don't you? Okay? So pay attention to what you're hearing and start using the language of the people that you're communicating with. It's going to be a lot easier for them to understand. Minimal amount of confusion. less arguments, all those sorts of things. Now, put it into practice as soon as you can. Start communicating effectively with your children. If you don't know if they're a visual type person, or a sound type person, or an auditory type person, or a feeling type person, then experiment. Try telling them what to do. Try drawing pictures. Assist them for getting a feel of information. Find out which one works. You'll notice really quick because you give them information, they'll have a glazed look, or you'll get action. Okay? Now, speaking of action, okay, I'm going to teach you how some really, really good way to get action with your children. Okay? It's going to be in the next session. Okay? Have fun with this stuff. Enjoy it, okay? It's all about learning. If it's awkward, then that means you're learning something new and different, does it? Okay? So just go with it, right? Embrace it. Right? Now, enjoy yourself. I've enjoyed talking to you and look forward to our next session, session number 2. Thank you.